Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today's video is pretty much for anybody who is thinking about starting up their own lawn business. I've been doing this for about 4 years, and I just wanted to give you my input and tips. And I wanted to talk about, where I was at when I got started, where I am now, how many customers I've established, the different types of customers you'll encounter, what type of equipment you'll need, how much money you're going to need to start all this, and so on. I started doing this 4 years ago. I had an office job, and the money was I guess decent, but you don't really get a lot of raises and stuff like that. So at the time, I was driving a Toyota Yaris, a very compact car. When you think of a lawn business, you think of the huge truck and the trailer, and they've got a crew running, and they have 2 huge mowers. They got a push mower, like 5 backpack blowers, 10 weed eaters. That's not how they started, and that's not how I started either. The money that I had to get started was, I was working a full-time job, and I took my income tax money that I got, which was around $1,500, and I used that to purchase all my lawn equipment. The first thing that I had to get for my car was a trailer hitch. Now, I did not have a trailer at this time. I purchased a wheelchair ramp. I believe I bought it off my brother, and it was a wheelchair ramp with a little gate on it, like a little fold-down gate. And I was actually able to put that on the back of my car and wheel my push mower into it. And I got my dad to help me weld a weed eater rack onto it. If you don't know anybody that welds, you can just take it somewhere and get it welded. I put the blower in my trunk or in the back seat of my car, and that was pretty much all I did to get started. The trailer hitch was about $100 on eBay. The wheelchair ramp, I think I got it for $100. The push mower, it was a Honda push mower. It was about $500. I never had a single issue with the push mower. So if you're gonna get a push mower, I would suggest getting a Honda or anything with a Honda engine. I can let that thing sit there for about 6 months and pull it one time and it starts right up. The weed eater that I got, it was a FS94 by Stihl. And the last thing I bought was a blower. I believe it was the something 350, VR350, and that was from Stihl as well. The reason that I bought all commercial equipment, I could have went to Walmart and got some stuff, but you really know how that's going to work out. The stuff is going to last a week and then break down. Next is trying to find customers. So, as you know, I was working a full-time job, doing the full-time job 5 days a week. So I figured, I had a little bit of daylight left during the week, maybe like 2-3 hours a day of daylight left during the week to start squeezing in some yards, and then I had all weekend to do it. So I continued working my full-time job. I would do yards on my off time until I had enough money coming in to where I didn't need the full-time job anymore, and I was able to do the yards full-time. As far as getting customers, this is where it gets really tricky. When you first start out, you're really gonna have to be on a take what I can get basis. I did a lot of advertising on Craigslist. Facebook might be a better option now if you have a lot of friends and stuff like that. Also, when I first started, Craigslist was free to post an ad. Now you have to pay for a Craigslist ad, and it's $5 per ad, and you could land, maybe 1 or 2 customers in the month, I guess, that it runs. It might not even be that long. It might be like 2 weeks. What to expect when you first start getting calls? Don't get your hopes up, is the best way I would put it. When I first started getting calls, it was the price is too high. I just need it cut once because my mower broke. Then you have people that want it cut on a bi-weekly basis. Once you start getting your name around, people get to know you better. Like, all my business right now comes from word of mouth. That's the best type of business, because these people, they already know what you charge. They know what type of work you do. If it's just a one-time service, I'm really not interested in even taking on the yard, because you're only gonna make money off of that person one time. And that's not really what this business is about. When I first started, I had to take whatever I could get. It didn't matter what it was. I was doing yards for 35 bucks starting out. Now I do them no less than $50 a cut. I don't care how small the yard is. Another thing when you're first starting out is prices. A lot of people are going to be trying to negotiate your prices. I don't negotiate prices anymore. I tell them a price. If they don't want it done, or they tell me they know somebody cheaper, I tell them to call them instead. I'm not interested in it. I'm not going to go cut one yard for 25 bucks when I can, you know, go cut another one for 50. The next thing I want to talk about is when you're planning on getting started. I picked a really bad time to quit my job. I quit my job, I believe in June or July, which is 2 to 3 months basically until the winter time. Usually my winters start in around November. The problem with this is, like I was saying, the customers that you get in the beginning are usually bi-weekly or less. These aren't going to be weekly customers and then bi-weekly in the winter time. These are strictly bi-weekly customers all year round. The problem with this is these are the type of people that when the winter time gets here, they just cut you off because the grass stops growing. The leaves keep falling at the same rate. The weeds keep growing at the same rate. So now when you've been cut off, when you go back in a month or two to go back to this yard, now you have to do a cleanup because they have cut you off so long. Now this only adds to the time that you have to do this yard, puts more time on your equipment, and basically you're doing the yard for the price you agreed to, and you're doing double the work. Once you start landing these better customers, then you can start dropping these customers that are going to cut you off in the wintertime. The type of customers that I'm aiming for now are the ones that pay me all year round, the same price per month. This was my biggest struggle when I got started. It took me, you know, the first 2 or 3 years to really get over that, you know, fearing the winter time is coming, because I knew how much of a struggle it was going to be to get through those months and pay my bills. But now, you know, I've established, I don't know, 15, 20 customers that are on a year-round schedule, and I have that money to depend on to pay my bills and everything throughout those winter months and all year round. That's another thing that you're gonna have to get used to, is getting paid from these people. Everyone has their own system of getting paid from people. Some people invoice people. That's not how I do it. If it's a monthly customer, if they pay year round the same price every month, they have a date that they give me cash or a check, and I expect that payment on that day, and I haven't had any problems getting payments from those people. Now my bi-weekly customers, they usually leave the money under the mat for me each time I go to their house. If it's not there, if they're not paying like that, if they're not leaving the money under the mat, usually they will, you know, have some other means of online payment, you know, whether it be like Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, stuff like that. When I'm done with their yard, I will take a picture of their yard, text them, say I just finished up your yard, can you please send the payment? Usually I'll get a response and they'll send the payment right over. Other times they won't respond, and then usually the next morning I will remind them about the payment. If I don't hear anything from them the next day, I will remind them about the payment again, and then you're pretty much on a, I'm not doing your yard again until you pay me. And I've heard stories of people letting people go by like 3 months without payment, which is insane. You just did their yard for 3 months for free, and then you have to take them to court. You have to pay more money taking them to court than you would even have gotten from them in the first place. Yeah, that's really all I can think of right now. If this video helped you, please leave a like and subscribe, and leave in the comments, you know, if you have any other questions, I'd be glad to help. I appreciate you watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.